Okay, so we are done with the theory part. Let's try to demonstrate the concepts of an array practically. Here, we are going to go through declaration of an array and how we can do some assignments and display of an array and other operations as time allows. So let's create our first program that uses an array. We want an array that should be able to maybe add 5 numbers together. Or first of all, we are going to just display them, then we are going to be changing our program for different cases. So let's have our program here. Hash include stream and using namespace std, and we have our main format of the program here, return 0. So we want to create an array here. We are going to call this array, maybe from the slides we maintain the same name, grades. That should keep grades for you as a single student, maybe grades for second semester, and for all courses, of course, then we can have maybe grade 6. So it will keep grades for you. And after this is a declaration. We can assign values to the array. So we have grades on position 0. We can give it maybe a grade of 75, and this can be repeated. This can be repeated. Anyway, so we can pick these things. We can have only index 2, so index 1 maybe 42, index 3, I'm too fast, index 2 maybe 55, index 3 maybe 81 or 82, index 4 maybe 56, and the index 5, which is the last one, because our size is 6, it means our indices will stop at 5, and this will be okay, let's just give it 71. So we have declared our array and we have assigned the values on each index. You would do the same by coming here after declaration. You would just list the values here inside these brackets if you want to initialize during declaration. So you may not need this, but for now we want to demonstrate using this one. Then after this, you can use your values because you have the spaces. It's like you have declared 6 variables, and each variable you have assigned a value. Now you can use these variables whatever you want them to be used. In our case, for now, we just want to display them to the screen. We are going to display them maybe in a row, maybe horizontally, or we can choose to display them maybe vertically, one value at a time. But let's just display them here using a loop. Before maybe you use a loop, we can choose to have just a simple statement that should be able to display element on position 2. So maybe element on the index 2. On index 2 will be grades, and we specify the index. So on index 2, we want the element on index 2, that is the third element. If we save this program, for example, let's try practicals anyway. Okay, we just call this folder labs, and we have this one as the maybe arrays. and we compile this program. I hope it compiles without any problem. Okay, no problem, then we run. So element on index 2 is 55. So it's able to get this value by just writing like this. So you can specify any index, but if we try to have an index which is not represented here, maybe element on index 6, remember the size of our array is 6 and we are trying to access the 7th element, so to say, because our indices are starting from 0, so it's supposed to stop at 5, but we are out of that. So this compilation is okay, but the learning will give us something which is completely out of order. Okay, let's see, out of order. What has happened now? Okay, so it will be out of order. It's giving us element on index 2. Okay, so we didn't modify that part. Is 56. It's not supposed to show that. It's out of order. It's not giving us the correct information on index 6. So every time we try to run this program, we may have a value which is not true. So let's try to put 92 here and we run our program again. So it's not a true value that is giving us. This is because our program is trying to access something. But there's one thing that you need to take note of. With C++, if you have a value which is out of range as an index, it will not give you an error. But it will give you a value which is out of order, which is not a valid value. It can just generate any value. That's why here we don't have any value which is actually 56, which is displayed here. Our values are ranging from 75, 55, 82, up to that. So on index 6, we don't know the value. So it's getting the address of another value. Maybe that value is not for this program. That's the danger. We may be accessing a value of other, but it's just giving us a value which is not correct, which is not representing ours. So we should be very mindful of knowing the boundary of our array. Okay, so let's go back to our normal one. It was the index 2, and that should be able to show us 55. And the last one is the last element on index number 5, which is index 5. It should show us the last element, which is 71, of course. Okay, we can choose to display them all. Maybe element on index 1 or the first element is whatever. But we can choose to display them all using the for loop. So we can have maybe for loop from I equals 0 up to maybe I less than our position, our size of an array, which is 6. And we can increment the I here. And maybe instead of on index blah 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 blah, we can say on index I. What about that? Element on index I. Then probably we can choose to put end L here, like that. Let's think of what output this one would give. Just a moment. Okay, let's try to run it together. So let's try. Okay, we have a problem. Oh, sorry, we have a problem here. Okay, so this is supposed to be like that. Okay, so let's try to run this one. We have compiled. It has compiled without problems. We run our program. So it's showing element on index 071. We haven't changed something. Oh, sorry. I think so many mistakes on this one. Here we have to use the index I. That's what I wanted. So on index I, then it grades index I. Let's compile and run this program. Now it's showing something better this time around. So it's able to display them all in that order. So you can use an array to have a bunch of numbers which you can process together as one entity. You can display them as one entity. You can do whatever you want to do. So in this video, we are just demonstrating you how you can do the declarations, how you can actually use the values or access the values or assign the values to an array, etc. Okay, in our next video, we are going to demonstrate how you can use the two-dimensional array.